Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm MEUTHIA TISAA Janna and I'm from class C. In this video, I would like to resume about chapter 3. Chapter 3. Culturism. Culturism is the idea that individuals are defined by their culture, that this culture from a class organic whole, and that the individual cannot live its own culture but can only realize itself in it. Culturism to state that culture has a claim to special rights and protections, even if at the same time they violate individual rights. Richard Haggard, The Uses of Literacy. Use of literacy is divided into two parts: an older order which describes the working class culture of Haggard's childhood in the 1930s and generating a new place, depicting traditional working class culture under threat of the new forms of mass entertainment of the 1950s. According to Haggard, class people workers have traditionally, or at least for generations, regarded arts as escapism, as something enjoyed but not considered to have much of a relationship with the problems of everyday life. Art is marginal fun, real life taking place elsewhere. Artists, for you to use 238, the true witness of books. This is his inability to transmit insights from his treatments of popular culture of the 1930s into his treatments of so-called mass culture 1950s, when, in the second part of his studies, Haggard turned to consider some features of contemporary life. 169. Self-made aspects of working class culture mostly kept out of sight. 1950s popular cultures, as described by Haggard, no longer offers the full possibility of a rich life. Everything now too thin and tasteless. Raymond Williams, The Analysis of Culture. Raymond Williams' influence of culture studies was immense. The range of his own work is very extraordinary. He has made significant contribution to our understanding of the theory culture history, television, press, radio, and advertising. In culture analysis, Williams 2009 outlined three general categories in the definition of culture. 30-second. First, the ideal, in where culture is a state or process of human perfection, in the sense of values absolute or universal. Second, documentary recordings, text and culture practice that there still is. In this definition, culture is a collection of intellectual and imaginative works in detail, human thoughts and experience are variously recorded. The third definition of social culture, where culture is a description of a particular way of life. Definition introduces three new ways of thinking about culture. The first, the anthropological position, who see, who see culture as a description of a certain way. Second, a proposition that culture reveals certain meanings of values. Third, the claim that works of culture analysis should be clarification of implied and explicit explicit meanings and values and particular way of life. Culture curtain. Life culture is the culture that people experience in excitance. They are every day in a curtain place and at the curtain certain time. The only person who has full access to this culture are those who truly live the structure of their feelings. The difference between Levicism and Williams in this respect and is that Williams does what wants the same culture, while Levicism only wants a culture of difference and hierarchical respect. The British working class, like any other class for Thomson, are historical phenomena. Original emphasis is not structure of category, but unification, a number of distinct and seemingly unrelated events, both in raw material experience as well as in consciousness. It is something that actually happened and can shown to occur in human relationship. The making of the English working class details the political and cultural formation of the British working class by approaching the subject from three different but related perspectives. First, it reconstructs political traditions and British culture of radicalism in the late 18th century, religious dissent, popular discontents, and the influence of the French Revolution. Second, it focuses on social and cultural experience of the Industrial Revolution as experienced by working groups that difference weavers, workers, cotton spinners, craftsmen, and etc. Third, analyze growth of working class consciousness as evidenced in growth in various strong and self-conscious political, social, and culturally based working class institutions. Williams drew two conclusions from his research. The first, when every question has been met, the outstanding edge of the period between 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 1790 until 1830 was the formation of the working class. Second, the claims that this is perhaps the most famous popular culture ever known to England. Stuart Hall and Paddy Wennell, the Popular arts goal is to replace the misleading generalizations of attacks against popular culture by helping to facilitate popular discrimination in within and across popular culture itself. Their, their approach directs them to reject two common teaching strategies often encountered in popular culture introduced into class. First, a defensive strategy that introduces popular culture to be condemned as a second-class culture. Second, an opportunist strategy that embarrassed state popular students. The second part of their thesis, the need to recognize in culture popular difference categories which they call popular art. Popular art is not art trying to failing to be real art, but one that operates within popular boundaries. Popular art is basically conventional art that restates in the form of intents, known values and attitudes, which measures and reaffirms, but it brings a surprise of art as well as a surprise of recognition. Such art has similarities with folk art, namely through contact between the viewer and performer. But this art differs from folk art in that it is individual art, the art of the non-performer audience, as the community has depended on player skill and on the strength of personal style to articulate shared values and interpret experience. The main focus popular arts is on the textual quality of popular culture. However, when Hall and Wennell turn to question about youth culture, they feel the need to discuss interaction between the text and the audience. The Center of Contemporary Culture Studies. In the introduction to the Long Revelation, Williams, 1965, laments the fact that there is no an academic subject in which the questions I am interested in can be followed up. Me hope one day there might be 10. 3 years after the publication of the commentary, Haggard founded the Center for Contemporary Culture Studies at the University Birmingham. Culture practitioner studying culture, texts, and practices to reconstruct experience, value, etc. the feelings structure of a particular group or class or an entire society. to be more understand the lives of those who live the culture. I think that's enough. Thank you.